Hi, and welcome to the Spawdcast. My name's Carrie Hyde, and I'm your host, and I'm your pet's life coach. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're kind of going to pull all of the stuff we've learned about pets, and we're going to be talking about all of it together. So I brought on a couple of guest co-host, and I also have our expert here, who is also a podcaster. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring Krista on, which I will introduce her to you in a minute, is because if we want to have change in life in anything that we do, I think it's very, very important that we come together and we work together. We can't make change by ourselves. We need each other. And so as pet parents and pet educators, we need each other. And we need to be able to communicate and not be so competitive with each other and yet be together. And Krista actually reached out to me, and so she was the one. I get a little nervous, like people are going to be competitive and they're not going to want to talk. But Krista contacted me and said, hey, let's get together so we can reach more people. And then I also wanted to bring on as my guest co-host somebody who also has a small business and understands about how important it is to come together and work together as a whole to make change. And so I wanted to bring my very good friend, and I want to introduce you to her. Her name is Laura Lampers. Hi, Laura.
Hello, how are you?
So Laura is a huge pet lover, and I've been teaching her along the ways about diet change and those kind of things. But Laura also runs a small company called Pure Romance, and she started out, and why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
So I am a Pure Romance consultant, and so what I do is I have in-home ladies' night parties, and in-home and both virtual now with everything going on. And I teach women about sexual wellness as well as their bodies, body confidence, bath and beauty products. So it's a really great opportunity to empower women, educate women, give them self-esteem. And then at the same time, it's a great bonding time and opens up communication between friends.
We can understand, just about how confidence, no matter where that confidence comes from, is super important. And when we're talking about pet-related stuff, confidence is very important because a lot of times, and I'm sure our next guest is going to help us understand this a little bit more, when we find ourselves in a vet hospital, a lot of times, if we're not confident, we're not able to speak up for our pets. And so, without further ado, I really want to introduce you to the host of Wag Out Loud, Krista. There I go. Okay, there's the last name. There it is. I'm going to be known for that forever. It's Krista Karpowich. Hi, Krista. Welcome to the show.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for chatting today. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, this is going to be some good stuff. Tell me a little bit about, so I spoke with you before and we talked a little bit about your dog that you had prior to doing any podcasting. Can you tell us a little bit about your dog? The one that had the seizures?
Yes, that was Higgins, and that was a long time ago, probably 15 years ago. He was having seizures and went to 3 different veterinarians trying to figure out why he was having seizures, and nobody could figure it out. And during that time, we were looking at getting a second dog. She was an older dog, and the people said, we will only sell her to you if you promise to feed raw. So I had never fed raw before. Okay, we promise. And because I was feeding her raw, I might as well feed Higgins raw as well. And once he got the raw diet, he never had another seizure.
Wow.
Wow.
Those are the stories that, wouldn't you agree? Those are the stories that stand behind us and push us, right? We remember those, and they push us to do, to make the difference in other pets' lives, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that the light bulb came on. Oh, wait a minute. Nutrition is obviously so important. We've been brought up to just pour kibble into a bowl and think that that's okay. Every meal for the entire life of the dog. Well, I equate that to you and I eating Captain Crunch cereal every day, twice a day for the rest of our life. Is that nutrition?
Yeah. No, and it's sold as if it's nutrition, but those are those are stories. I have stories like that as well. I have a dog that's staying with me, has been with me now about 4 years. His name is Bo, and Bo was brought to me. I think I told you about Bo. Bo's owner wanted to put him to sleep because he had seizures. And I said, let me take him and see if I can change his diet and see if that will make the difference in his seizures. And it did. He's been with me now, I want to say 4 years, and he has never had a seizure in my care. He's medicine-free, he's seizure-free, he's healthy as all healthy can be. And that when people like us come out and we want to educate you guys, it's really, I'm sure Krista you would agree, it's that driving force, and you see it over and over. It's not one case. I know a lot of veterinarians want to say, oh, this is just anecdotal, but when does it stop being anecdotal, do you think, and being reality, even though we may not have the science tests behind it? When do you think our anecdotal stories become important?
They already have. Unfortunately, money makes the world go round, and it's the large companies, I don't need to name names, but the companies that are making the processed dry food that put money towards studies just to validate their quote unquote food. I can't even call it food.
Right.
The raw community, unfortunately, doesn't have those big dollars to do studies and clinical trials. But all you have to do is talk to raw feeders to find out the benefits. And every single one of them will tell you a similar story. Here were the problems that my dog was having, whether it was seizures or allergies or digestive issues, GI, diabetes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go on and on.
Right.
And switching to a raw food diet, oh, well, my dog doesn't have all those issues anymore. To me, it's not food, it's feed.
Right.
So that's all they know.
Yeah.
They don't know about the raw diet or the whole food fresh diet. And I think that's slowly changing, but they don't know everything.
Right. And it's okay for them to not know everything. And so, and I stress that a lot to veterinarians. It's okay to say, I don't know anything about nutrition. I'm going to look right at the veterinarians that are watching or listening. It's okay to say you don't know anything about nutrition. And it's okay as a pet parent to say, hey, maybe my vet doesn't know anything about nutrition. I should start to look out on that. But before we go too far and getting into what we're talking about, I would just like you to, could you define what a raw diet means to you?
Yes, well, there's all different. There's prey model, which it amazes me the people that go to the great lengths of finding the muscle meat, the organ meat, the bone. You might as well just throw a carcass in the backyard, which is great. I wish I could do that. I feed commercial raw, and I rotate the heck out of the proteins. He gets a different protein every meal because, as you know, the amino acid profile is different with every protein. There's the true raw feeders. A lot of them don't believe in adding fruits or veggies to a raw diet, but I do. I believe in the phytonutrients.
I do as well.
So that is why I started on this path, because as you know, there is so much information out there.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
There's conflicting information everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Are dogs carnivores? Are they omnivores? And you see the vegan dog food.
Now there's vegan dog food.
Yes. So you have to do your research, and that's why I do feed raw. As I said, I feed a commercial raw, but I have one small dog, so it's affordable. But there are days when I just make my own. I do a veggie base with eggs. I just scramble some cage-free eggs. He gets one day. that's almost nature's perfect protein is the egg. So canned sardines and water that you can get from the grocery store.
Awesome choice.
Great omegas.
Yep.
He loves them. So I could go on and on, but there are different levels of the raw diet.
Right.
And, you have the barf diet, which is a whole different story where you feed bones as well.
Yeah. So for our listeners, it's important for you to understand there is a difference between, like Krista's telling you, you have levels, and some people get really, really into it. I know, and that I think is what gets scary. But what I want to make sure our listeners know is that a raw diet doesn't mean that you're just giving uncooked food. It needs to be a balanced diet, which is why in a lot of cases it's good to go with a commercial diet because they will have balanced it for you. But I've always said that if you really want to know what's going in your pet's mouth, the best way to do it is to do it at home, but you have to make sure you do it right.